Sometimes it's not the outside world that drains you. It's the people you welcome into your own home. You invite them in, offer food, create a warm atmosphere. Yet once they leave, something feels off. It's not always dramatic, but there's a subtle discomfort. You notice tension, a shift in mood, even small arguments flaring up between family members, and you can't quite put your finger on why. It happens more often than we like to admit, because the reality is, not everyone who enters your home comes with pure intentions. Some bring heavy hearts, quiet envy, or words that seem harmless but slowly erode the peace within your walls. In Islam, we're taught to be cautious about who we allow into our homes, just as we guard our hearts. Because what happens inside your home shapes your prayer, your mood, your family bond, and your connection with Allah. In this video, we'll explore 5 types of people you need to be careful about letting into your home, not to judge them, but to protect the blessing of peace Allah has given you. I truly encourage you to watch until the very end, without skipping, because you might recognize someone uncomfortably familiar, and that realization could be the first step toward restoring peace where it matters most. Number 1, the one who brings gossip into your home. It often starts innocently. They arrive with a smile, compliment your home, settle in politely, but before long, the real reason for their visit surfaces. They start sharing stories about others. What she did, what he said, who's having problems. They carry tales from someone else's home and deposit them into yours. While your children listen, your spouse half smiles, and you sit there, nodding uncomfortably because you don't want to seem rude. But here's the danger. Gossip doesn't stay in the air. It sinks into the very walls of your home, planting seeds of judgment, arrogance, and jealousy, often without you even realizing. The Prophet Muhammad said, as narrated by Abu Huraira, "Do you know what backbiting is?" The companions replied, "Allah and His Messenger know best." He said, "It is to mention something about your brother that he dislikes." Someone asked, "What if what I said about him is true?" The Prophet replied, "If it is true, you have backbitten him. If it is false, you have slandered him." Now think, imagine letting someone like that sit for hours in your living room, shaping the environment your family lives in. It's not about cutting people off completely. It's about setting boundaries. It's perfectly okay to say, "Let's not talk about others right now," or simply steer the conversation elsewhere. Sometimes it's best to shorten the visit or reconsider how often you invite certain people. Because gossip isn't just a sin, it's a spiritual toxin. And your home should be a sanctuary of peace, not a dumping ground for drama and negativity. Number 2, the one who always complains, criticizes, or brings negativity. There are people who, no matter the situation, always find something wrong. Spend 5 minutes with them and you already feel heavier. They criticize life, mock others, belittle your choices, and highlight every flaw they see. They don't celebrate, they don't uplift, they drain. At first you might excuse it. Maybe they're going through a hard time, but over time their constant negativity starts affecting you too. You notice it after being around them. Your mood shifts, your energy dips. You start doubting your blessings. You find yourself getting irritated with your own family. You feel exhausted, even though you haven't done anything. That's because negativity is spiritually contagious. The Prophet Muhammad said, "A person is upon the religion of their close companion, so be mindful of whom you befriend." And it's not just about lifelong friendships. It's also about who you allow into your space, who shares your moments, who influences the atmosphere of your home and heart. If someone's presence brings constant criticism, judgment, sarcasm, or emotional heaviness, you don't have to hate them, but you do have to protect your mindset, because your surroundings shape your attitude, and your attitude shapes your Deen. So ask yourself, after spending time with this person, do I feel closer to Allah? Or do I feel more distracted, bitter, or emotionally unsettled? That one honest question might tell you everything you need to know. Number 3, the one who normalizes haram and makes you feel too Islamic. You're trying. You're guarding your eyes, your tongue, your thoughts, your lifestyle, taking steps, big and small, to get closer to Allah. But then someone close to you jokes, You're too serious now. Come on, lighten up. Everyone does this. Don't overthink it. At first it sounds harmless and even funny, but slowly they make you feel like you're the odd one out, that your efforts to obey a law are too much, that staying away from haram makes you judgmental, boring, or extreme. And this is exactly how Shaitan works. Not always by dragging you straight into sin, but by surrounding you with people who make disobedience seem normal and obedience feel excessive. And sometimes it's not strangers. It's close friends, colleagues, even family. They blast music without care. They joke about relationships, zina, and things you're trying to stay away from. They mock hijab, beards, or Islamic values, often without even realizing they're slowly chipping away at your spirit. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The example of a good companion and a bad one is like that of a seller of musk and a blacksmith. The seller of musk will either gift you some, sell you some, or at least leave you with a pleasant smell, while the blacksmith will either burn your clothes or leave you with an awful odor." In today's world, that blacksmith could be anyone who casually surrounds you with forgetfulness of Allah and treats sin as entertainment. If after spending time with someone, you notice your standards slipping, your guard lowering, and your habits declining, it's a sign. You must rethink who you allow into your space, because anyone who makes you feel ashamed of your Deen is not safeguarding your heart. And peace can never survive in a space where Allah is forgotten. Number 4, the one obsessed with showing off and making you feel small. They walk in, and you already know the script. The designer brands, the newest phone, the same vacation stories, shared just loud enough for everyone to hear. And somehow, every conversation eventually revolves around them. What they own, who they know, how blessed they are. Don't get it wrong. There's nothing wrong with sharing blessings with gratitude. But when someone's presence constantly leaves you feeling smaller, behind in life, or ashamed of your simplicity, that's not inspiration. That's subtle arrogance. In today's world, this kind of behavior isn't rare. It's everywhere. In Instagram captions, at dinner tables, weddings, even casual family gatherings. People don't just visit anymore. They perform. And if you're not mindful, their performance can quietly start affecting your own contentment. You begin comparing, doubting your life choices, feeling the pressure to spend on things you don't need, just to keep up. You forget the peace you had before they walked through your door, and slowly, without realizing it, your shukr, your gratitude, starts to fade. You stop thanking Allah for what you have because you're too busy focusing on what you don't. The Prophet Muhammad advised, "Look at those below you and not those above you, for that is better to avoid belittling the blessings of Allah upon you." So if someone's presence constantly stirs competition, makes you feel anxious instead of grateful, and leaves you doubting your blessings, then protect your peace. Because contentment doesn't grow in a place where someone is always trying to prove they have more than you. Number 5, the one who disrespects your boundaries and your faith. You set your standards. No loud music, no inappropriate jokes around your kids. You try to keep your home halal, respectful, and pure. But then someone visits, and suddenly, everything you stand for feels like too much. They roll their eyes when you turn down the volume. They mock when you remind them to mind their language. They say things like, "Don't be so uptight. We're family." It's not that serious. And little by little, your own boundaries start to bend, just to keep the peace, just to avoid feeling like the religious one. But here's a truth you must hold on to. Peace that demands you abandon your principles isn't peace, it's surrender. When you let others walk over your values just to avoid awkwardness, you're not just hurting yourself. You're teaching your children, your spouse, and your own heart that faith is flexible when people challenge it. The Prophet Muhammad never forced religion upon anyone, but he also never allowed the disrespect of Allah's commands in his presence. And in today's world, where sins are often normalized and barakah is so easily destroyed, you have every right to say, "Not here, not around my family, not in my home." It's not about ego. It's not about judgment. It's about protecting the blessing Allah has gifted you and standing firm for it without apology. If someone cannot respect your boundaries, your faith, or your desire to live with dignity, then maybe they should not have that level of access to your space in the first place. A final reminder. My dear brothers and sisters, it's easy to hear a topic like this and start thinking about everyone else, who you need to remove, who you need to avoid, who needs to be cut off. But before you close this video with a heavy heart, take a deep breath, because Islam is not about turning your back on people. It's about protecting your heart without hardening it. Yes, we've discussed 5 types of people to be cautious about, but our caution must be guided by wisdom, not arrogance. The goal is not to sever ties recklessly. It's to set boundaries with grace, to stay polite, to correct with good character, to protect your peace without becoming cold or harsh. And remember, sometimes the people we love the most can make mistakes. They say the wrong thing. They bring the wrong energy. Often they don't even realize the impact they're having. That doesn't mean you cut them off forever. It means you lead with gentle firmness. You protect your space, but you also protect your relationships. Because in Islam, cutting family ties is a major sin. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Whoever severs the ties of kinship will not enter paradise." So don't let this reminder harden your heart. Let it sharpen your vision instead. Protect your home, protect your heart, and protect your relationships too, through adab, sabr, and sincerity. And before you only think of others, ask yourself honestly, have I ever been that person to someone else? If the answer is yes, make a simple, heartfelt dua. Ya Allah, remove every trait from me that pushes others away from you. Purify my company and make me someone who brings barakah wherever I go. And if this message touched your heart, comment below, Ya Allah, protect my peace and soften my heart. Because your words might inspire someone else to reflect and reconnect too. And lastly, remember, liking, commenting, or subscribing costs nothing. But it helps spread reminders that protect hearts and strengthen Iman in a world that's full of noise. May Allah surround you with righteous companions, protect your home with endless blessing, and guide your heart toward balance, humility, and lasting peace. Ameen.